According to our program of today, which is the second section, and that is second paper presentation. The topic is duties and responsibilities of officers, and this will be taken care by the Naib Sada Admin, Alhaji Dauda Raji Abiola Sahil. Please, let's start. And kan tape microphone yẹn mọ́lẹ̀. Wọ́n kàn kúrò ni.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa nashhadu anna sayyidana Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال ربي يسر لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Respected Sada Sahib and the chairman of this session, respected Naib Sada Hawa, respected Naib Sada Sabdom, respected Rukni Khususi, respected Zona Coordinator, respected MOC members and Nazimin, respected invited guests, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. As much as possible, I will want to limit myself to the paper already presented, already produced, because of the time limitation. As much as I want to explain, the preamble given by Sada Sahib will not allow me. Introduction. The topic before me is duties and responsibilities of officers. Before one can become an officer of any organization, be it religious, political, or social, one must first be a bona fide member of such organization. In like manner, signing of bayat makes one become a member of the Jamaat, from which Majlis Ansarullah is an auxiliary body. The Majlis pledge is read often and repeatedly at every meeting and special occasions. The pledge is as stated. Please read. Juxtaposing the contents of the pledge with our practical life, let individual rate and rank himself to ascertain he's been a good Ahmadi before even becoming an officer. Remember, Allah says, Quran chapter 61, verses 3 and 4. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu lima taquluna ma la taf'alun. Kabura makitan indallahi an taqulu ma la taf'alun. Meaning, O ye who believe, why do you say that what you do not is most hateful in the sight of Allah, that you say what you do not? Before I go on, I want to bring your mind or refresh your mind on the first topic, which is growing the Jamaat, the responsibility of an officer. To grow the Jamaat is our duty of members and duties of officers of the Jamaat. Choosing an officer. In the Nizami Ahmadiyya, that is the general body of the Jamaat, the essential qualifications in choosing an officer are: 1, being an upright Ahmadi who is not found wanting in his duties or responsibilities to the Jamaat. 2, who has not been sanctioned by the Jamaat for any moral ineptitude. 3, who tries his best to fulfill the requirements of Sharia and never deliberately violates any. 4, who upholds and lives by the Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The above are encapsulated in 1, piety; 2, trustworthiness; 3, knowledge and hard work. Now, having been appointed, elected, or selected as an officer at whatever level, be it MOK, Dilia, Mukom, or Alco, the appointment consequently demands some responsibilities expected to be discharged in line with the principles and norms of the organization. That is, the schedule of duties as contained in the Dastur Asasi. Practicalizing this, Sada Saab considered the best gift for the new entrants into Majlis, that the best gift that can be given to them is Dastur Asasi. That is to familiarize themselves with the content, to know the duties await them, and those of us that are welcoming them. How well are you familiarizing yourself with Dastur Asasi? If you have not been doing so, there is an opportunity to please kindly refresh your memory, refresh your knowledge, to know what are expected for you as officers of the Jamaat. Quickly referring to the speech of Amin Saab. Amin Saab has been emphasizing, re-emphasizing, and we have been reiterating on this one, that if Jamaat moves forward, 2 bodies are to be held responsible. And if otherwise, these same 2 bodies. Who are these 2 bodies? This is Majlis Ansarullah and the Jamia. And out of these 2 bodies, did not go for that, but before, said out of these 2 bodies, one share 75% and the other one share 25%. And the one with 25%, 75% is Majlis Ansarullah. So the bulk, the responsibility of Jamaat moving forward lies solely or mostly on members of Majlis Ansarullah. Having been given duties or responsibilities, one needs to actually plan as to how to go about it if one really wants to discharge. And this is what I called or termed some managerial skills. For an officer to be efficient and effective, he must be able to adopt or acquire some managerial techniques, which may include planning, organizing, coordinating, directing, analyzing, reporting, following up, and consolidating. I wish to briefly elaborate each of the above for better understanding. But before this, brothers, let me emphasize one potent weapon on which hinge the effectiveness and potency of the skills. And what is that weapon? That is prayer. No matter how good one is, no matter how energetic you are, prayer is very important and is a weapon to rely upon. This is a very powerful instrument which should be given top priority before, during, after planning and execution of the work plan. The efficacy and indispensability of prayer in the success of any affair cannot be overemphasized. Managerial skills. Point number 1, planning. Immediately an officer is appointed, the first thing is to chalk out his work plan for efficiency and effectiveness. This must be in consonance with the organization's aim and objectives as related and relevant to his office or post. Planning is the setting up of objectives and deciding in advance the appropriate course of action to achieve this. Remember, your plan is your set goals, and he who fails to plan plans to fail. May God forbid. So it is very important that we should have a plan of action, plan of activities. Let us try and chalk this out in the respective responsibility given to us. Organizing. This is to arrange in an orderly manner the planned work of activities in such a way that there will be no infringement or usurpation of authority. For example, the coordinator will organize his visit to the dealer under his zone, devoid of any clash with one another. Summarily, one's assignment has to be organized in such a way that it will be easier and tidier to carry out. Coordinating and directing. An officer must be able to coordinate the activities of others working with him or under him. This will enable him to know what is going on at a particular time and give necessary attention promptly as required. For example, the coordinator is to direct the affairs of the dealer in his zone. More officers will coordinate the colleagues in the dealer and down the ladder to the alcohol level. Report writing. This is very essential, and it is incumbent upon every officer to submit report of activities regularly and promptly. Report writing is the only evidence to show the relevance and effectiveness of any organization and association. The Majlis is no exemption. Please permit me to share with you this sharing news that Majlis Ansarullah Nigeria is second to none internationally in report writing. This feat was attained during the tenure of our respected former Sada, Alhaji MB Odukoya Saheed. Same standard has been consolidated and is still being sustained and improved upon by the incumbent Sada Saheed, Alhaji Engineer Adeoye Abdulwahid Akanji. We are resolute in keeping up the standard and quality of the Majlis report that is sent to Markaz every month. Your regular report is an indispensable factor for the Majlis to consolidate and retain the enviable position in report writing. My appeal to you all is to ensure that all officers carry out their planned work of activities and report accordingly, because an officer working without giving report is like a handless working clock which cannot indicate time. So report writing is very, very important. Please let us give it that significance and attach the importance required to make it effective. Personal development. It is very essential for every officer to improve himself and upgrade his knowledge about Islam, Salat, and recitation of the Holy Quran. Learning is from cradle to grave. So, nobody should see the bottle of knowledge acquisition. Efforts should be made to gather useful and latest information about one's assignment and to also upgrade the knowledge about practical Islam. Allah says in Quran, "And I have not created the jinn and the men but that they may worship me." If you don't know what to do, if you don't know how you will worship Allah and what to reside in worshiping Allah, how will you do that? How will you fulfill that responsibility? The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also states that talabul ilmi faridatun ala kulli muslim wa musliman. With this at the back of our mind, that is, seeking for knowledge is compulsory for Muslim men and Muslim women. With this at the back of our minds, the carrying out to the primary duty of our purpose of creation should be given topmost priority. We should epitomize practically the teaching of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our performance of Salat. It's a bit shocking and disturbing that some of our members still do not know some simple prayers, rules and rudiments of Salat. This was discovered during Sada Sahib official visitation to some dealers while interacting with some members. Concerted efforts must therefore be made by officers to improve their knowledge by reading widely, mastering and improving on the competency of reading of the Quran, reading journals, books, magazines, and Islamic books and literature. Meeting agenda at all levels must include ta'aleem and ta'aleemul Quran, which must be organized and held regularly with allocation of sufficient time. Holy Quran 39 verse 10 states, "Are those who know equal to those who know not?" That is, it is very important to know what we are doing in order to be relevant and make our ibadah more meaningful before Allah. Ambassadorial duties. I want to crave your indulgence to please let us attach more importance to this, because emphasis was laid on this one during the first lecture, Growing the Jamaat. Ambassadorial duty to our children, to our wife, outside, within our environment, within our community. Every officer of the Majlis must be a good ambassador of the Majlis in particular and the Jamaat in general. He must not engage in any acts, overtly or covertly, that will tarnish the image, dignity, and reputation of the Majlis. Let me at this juncture suspend the discussion of the managerial techniques and focus more on the highlight of the responsibility of some core or key officers of the Majlis. Responsibilities of officers. Please note that all officers at every strata of the Majlis are important and germane to the progress and development of the organization. Some are, however, more strategic and stand as anchors and springboards for others to perform effectively and actively. Some of these officers include Umomi, Tabligh, Tarbiyah, Ta'aleem, Tajneed, and Maan. Highlighted below are the duties and responsibilities of the above stated officers. 1. Office of the Umomi. The importance of report writing, as said earlier, cannot be overemphasized. This is because it is a measure to determine the level of progress of the organization. An officer who fails to write a report of his activities is likened to a working clock with no indicators to determine the time of the day. It is therefore incumbent on the secretaries at all levels of the Majlis, namely Nazim Umumi, that is Adilia level, Muntazi Umumi, that is at Mukam level, and Naib Zaim Umumi, that is at Alco level, to write the reports of their activities in their various stations and submit to the appropriate quarters every month. More importantly, the Nazim Umumi should complete the up-to-date report and forward same to the MOC every month. We have been saying it repeatedly that there is no action going on at the MOC level rather than compilation, collation of the report submitted by the Nazimin, consisting of the activities that happened at the Delia level. Similarly, the Koidin should make it a point of duty to write report of their activities. The zonal coordinators are also expected to do same on their respective zones and submit to the MOC monthly. Towards the end of November, when we were working on the report submitted, Sada Saib observed that the coordinators are not submitting report again. The coordinators and many Koidins are not submitting reports again. Now, last year had gone. We are now in the new year. And the essence of this retreat is to make a significant positive impact in our attitudes. Otherwise, the essence of this retreat will be defeated. For easy collation, a simple and comprehensive report format has been designed to be filled and submitted to the MOC every month. It is expected that all scribes should discharge their responsibilities accordingly, bearing in mind the injunction of the Holy Quran that states, and no scribe, secretary, should refuse to write because Allah has taught him, so let him write. Quran 283. That's Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 283. Tabligh officer. Tabligh means preaching, which is enjoined on all believers by Allah. It is a duty and obligation of every Muslim to guide his fellow beings to Allah, the Almighty, and win souls for him. Allah says, "Call unto the way of thy Lord with wisdom and goodly exhortations, and argue with them in a way that is the best. Surely thy Lord knows best who are strayed from the way, and he knows who are rightly guided." Quran chapter 16, verse 126. This, however, remains a serious challenge which we need to confront headlong in order to make it result-oriented, that is, in terms of bayat. I need to reiterate here that one of the approaches as laid down by Uzur Akdas is as follows. I quote, "Whenever we set out on preaching expeditions, we should be purposeful, that is, doing it only to win the pleasure of Allah, putting all hopes only on Him through fervent prayers and sadaqah, and allowing no distractions." End of quotation. Sada side, Engineer Ade Abdulwahid Ade Akanji, in his submissions and admonitions, often states that before members go on tabligh, they should do the following. 1. Focus and determination to go on tabligh should be the bedrock. That is, innamal a'malu binniyah. The intention should be for the purpose of this, to carry out the obligatory duty as prescribed by Allah. 2. Offer special and dedicated tahajjud. Don't rely on your wisdom. Don't rely on your knowledge. 3, offer voluntary fasts. And 4, make sacrifice or make sacrifices. We should therefore adhere strictly to the advice of Uzur Anwar, Allah Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz, as reiterated and re-emphasized by Sada Said, in order to make our effort yield positive results that will translate into more bayats. Let me digress a little, that our own personal example is very, very important, because there are some of us right from our homes, as we are saying, that lost bayat. Some our actions, either deliberately or indeliberately, by error of omission or commission, we damage the image of the Jama and contribute to additional loss bayat. Some of us need to examine what is the situation, what is the condition of the Jama, and in what way, what are the impressions of my wife and my children about my activities in the Jama. Relevant to the question asked by Dr. Sani, that how many of us, we are looking at ourselves today, we are attending meetings, we are doing this, we are doing this. Now, if you on a free pedestal, if you now ask you give your children freedom, can they be as active as I am in the Jama? When I was at the Kudam, am I Kudam now, are they as active as I was then? Because I often say, when we were at the Kudam, when we gather like this, we will continue to say, àwọn bàbá yẹn, àwọn ní problem wa. It's very common. During that time, at the Kudam level, when we gathered, we say, those elderly men, they are the problems. Àwọn bàbá yẹn ní problem, we are the àwọn bàbá yẹn sìn o. We are the àwọn bàbá yẹn sìn. Now, let individual searchlight into your homes. How many of your children are really convinced, are ready to practically contribute to the progress of the Jama? A food for thought, and we really need to work on it. And let us intensify on this prayer that is prescribed in the Holy Quran. Rabbana habulana min hazwajina wa suriyatina qurratan ayuni. That qurratan ayuni is very important. That is, will be the blissful of our source of the blissful of our eye. And we will be seeing your children and you will be happy. May God accept our prayers. Tarbiyah. This is moral and spiritual training. It shall be the duty of Tarbiyah to take necessary steps for the development of true Islamic character among Majlis Ansarullah. That is what the Majlis Dasru Asasi stipulates. Every Tarbiyah officer must live above board with exemplary behavior. Every Nasir. Because if every one of us decide to live above board in our behavior, we will be easing the task of the problems that are emanating. For example, look at the emphasis to make reference to the speech of Amin Saab. References were made as members of the Majlis Ansarullah are now giving problems, mostly giving problems, sources of problems for the Jama. Islahi Committee, Ristanata Committee, as if they were established purposely for Ansarullah. We are to help these organizations, we are to help this committee to lessen their work. It should not be the Ansarullah that will be that will be facing disciplinary action. It's not the Ansarullah members that will be constituting and serving as stumbling block in the wheel of progress of the Jama. Let us search our mind. So, Tarbiyah office is such an office of high responsibilities, without which no office of the Majlis could function effectively and successfully. So Tarbiyah should be our responsibilities. Let us check Tarbiyah. Let's check our individual behavior. Let's check our attitude. Let us try and be good ambassadors of the Jama at any level we find ourselves. Mal office. This deals with finances of the organization. It prepares the income and expenditure budget, as well as monitors its realization and implementation. The Mal department is the engine room of any organization, as no meaningful progress can be made without funds. Concerted efforts should therefore be made to mobilize members for more financial sacrifices. The present record shows that no dealer with emphasis, with authority, facts are done there. If anybody wants to doubt this one, no dealer records up to 40% payers of statutory chanda, be it Jama chanda, be it Majlis Ansarullah chanda. No dealer in Nigeria, either regularly or occasionally. We should therefore strive harder to record at least up to 60% and above. The move has to be initiated and championed by the Maan officer. But all of us should assist the Maan officer. Let individual officers, let us see ourselves, examine ourselves, and ensure that we pay regularly and we pay correctly. Talim officer. It is the duty of the officer to propagate and inculcate the Islamic teaching among the Majlis Ansarullah. He shall also arrange the education of illiterate persons. This requires much attention by us all. I have earlier spoken extensively on this in the earlier part of my lecture under personal development. Let me now suggest some pragmatic approaches as contained in the Zone 2 Officers Retreat of 2019. That's where the quotation I quoted this. 1. Office holders should set the examples in the area of willingness to continue learning. 2. Set aside or spare about 30 or 40 minutes every day at the different local mosques for Talim programs. 3. Start from known to unknown. Select simple learning materials to make it interesting and go higher gradually. 4. Guided tests could be given at certain intervals. Number 6. Tajneed, that is Office of the Tajneed. This has to do with membership, population, or census. It should be at our fingertips at any point in time and updated from time to time. Accurate or near accurate Tajneed will go a long way in making our budgeting and planning realistic. For example, we usually report in our monthly report to markers, we usually report 5,000 plus. When Amin Saab came to attend the program here, they put the Tajneed of Majlis Ansarullah 8,000 plus. Now, having had this one, we need to reconcile. We now sat down, okay, let's collect their own report, the headquarters report, and juxtapose it with our own report here. We ended up in realizing about 6,000. That is, it is not when you are having inconsistent numbers, it means there is something fundamentally wrong with our Tajneed. So to make it accurate, to make it relevant, it is the duty of each and every one of us. The officer there cannot do it singly. The officers need to be assisted. Implementation strategy. Having highlighted some duties of officers, All other officers are important, as I've mentioned, but some officers serve as anchor and springboard for other officers to perform, and those ones are the ones already highlighted above. Now let's talk about implementation strategy. One very potent strategy for implementation is adoption of teamwork approach. A tree does not make a forest. In like manner, two good heads are always better than one. That is why holding regular meetings, especially monthly meetings, is strongly incorporated into the Majlis system of administration. The serious challenge being faced by this is poor attendance at meetings, especially at the ALCO, MUCOM, and even DILIA levels, because we discovered this during the SADA visitation to some DILIAs. We called for their meetings. Hardly we met or we discovered any DILIA who recorded attendance of above 30%, where a DILIA is about 40, and you see those who are in the attendance meeting, who attended the meeting, 11 out of 40, 11 out of 25, 7, and so on. No DILIA recorded up to 30% attendance. So efforts should therefore be made, because if they don't come to meeting, implementation strategy. Now we call for this retreat. You are here, and we are dressing ourselves. If we have empty chairs here, even if we are dressing, will it be effective? It is when you see people to train that the readiness of officers to train people will become fruitful. When officers will have even listened, or we have had report that some missionaries at different areas, they said that the missionaries will be around, though, the teacher is around, though, no student to teach. All these reports we collated. So we need to turn a new leaf and ensure that we improve on this. To overcome this challenge, I wish to put across the following suggestions. Better suggestions can come from us. 1, day and time of the meeting should be fixed, taking into consideration convenience, availability of, and suitability for the majority of members. 2, meeting agenda should be drawn in such a way that it will be interesting and relevant to the expectations and needs of the members and the Majlis. 3, agreed time brackets should be fixed, and this should be adhered to most of the time. That is, let me expatiate on 2 and 3 before I go on. Meeting agenda should be drawn in such a way that it will be interesting and relevant to the expectations and needs of the members and the Majlis. Now, we are having a meeting. A meeting is not just talk. At times, some members complain that in that meeting, we take too much time. We say meeting will start 10 o'clock. 11:30, members will not be around. We need to agree. Look at the suitable time to fix our meeting, date to fix our meeting, and then we re-emphasize, we reiterate the point of we need, if we make a promise that we are going to start our meeting, the meeting will be at also date, at also time, then it is not the responsibility of each of us to adhere strictly to our agreed day and time. When some people come, they are so conscious of the time, they come, they waste about 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and they don't see people, or other people don't come, then such people will be discouraged. So, but when we fix a time, let us hold it or regard it as a responsibility that the time and date fixed for the meeting should be strictly adhered to. Now, one factor we also contribute and make members to be attending our meeting, that is the meeting agenda. In some meeting, when they come, they argue. Some will even sort out a personality scuffle or personal misunderstanding. or maybe things that are not relevant to the meeting. Let us make our meeting relevant to the meeting and relevant to the need of the people. For example, early this morning, those of us that were around since yesterday and had the opportunity of serving Fajr prayer here. Immediately after Fajr prayer, before we took our breakfast, so we carried out health screening, health exercise. So in our meeting, if you have such a program and somebody that misses that meeting, in the meeting today we carry out this exercise, next time no, I will not want to miss it. So let us make our meeting to be interesting, then relevant to the expectation and needs of the majlis, of members and the majlis. Now, agreed time bracket duration should be fixed, and this should be adhered to most of the time. Meeting duration should not be too long. We should not overstress members' patience. Let us say you cannot exhaust all issues at a particular meeting. You have to suspend at a time. You have meeting, our meeting duration for our meeting is 2 hours or 3 hours. It is very important. So other people will be able to schedule time for other assignment. Okay, our meeting is between 10 and 1 o'clock, or 10 maximum of even Zuri time. Or it can even be less in order not to make it monotonous or overstressing. So make the meeting short and reasonable, with lengthy time. Don't bore people. Or when you go to that meeting, forget about having anything useful done for that day. It should not be. People will be discouraged from attending the meeting. The meeting is Sunday. That Sunday, no go area. You cannot fix any other program. Unlike except in a peculiar situation in Lagos. Even if you fix meeting, to go to back to your area may take 2-3 hours before you get to your area. But where that one is not, no, let us try and limit ourselves to 2 hours, or maximum of 3 hours. So this will not discourage people from coming to the meeting. Then meeting agendas should always include health talks, career guidance, safety tips, home and family management, and any other relevant issues to the majority. We can discuss at the meeting if we have personal issues, like we do in counseling, a case study of anonymous person. Okay, dear brothers, something happen. If you find yourself in this situation, what approach can you give to this one? For example, the reference made by NAFA, that is Naib Finance and Admin, in his own case. If you are not be somebody that is sincere, and God sees, because many of us are hiding our challenges. People will be looking, and he doesn't hide it. Yoruba adage says, "Ikatobandoyan." When you have a painful hand or finger and you continue to hide it, you won't get a cure to it. He is not afraid to say it openly. This is the challenge I am having. So anybody cannot get up tomorrow and now write a petition that our Naib Amir is so like this. He has not been hiding it. And some of us are hiding our problems. Like those who sell medicine outside. They said if you hide your problem will hide you. So it's better if you have any challenge, say it out, so people will come at our meetings. At our meeting, we can discuss personal issues that is even bothering members. This can be sorted out. Nobody is Mr. or Mrs. Know everything. So please let us exploit the advantage of population that we have, the gathering together. Let it be meaningful, let it be useful, let it be relevant. Let us make maximum use and benefit maximally on it. Lastly, those of us who have the grace of Allah to be active should make it a point of additional duty to persuade 1 or 2 inactive members to be attending meetings. This is highly meritorious and rewarding sacrifice that you worthy making. That is a reference to Zone 2 Zonal Retreat 2019. That is, let us make it a point of duty. Brother Lagbaja, you don't come to meeting. Don't let us be pessimistic. Let us try and find out. And it's not issue of money that we present. No, let us try and say, I hope nothing. You are supposed to be at the Delia meeting or Moko meeting. We didn't see you. I hope nothing, sir. I hope nothing. I hope there is nothing serious. So by the time we register our concern, we register our empathy, we register that welfareism, now the person will say, okay, kò ní jẹ́ mi nìkan náà na máa pè all the time. Let me also be among the people that will be inviting people to the meeting. Gradually like that, if you make it a point of duty that this meeting, the next meeting, so person didn't come to the meeting, and I had determined it in my mind that at least 2 or 3 people I will make sure I contact to encourage them to come for the next meeting. Gradually like that, we will be seeing improvements. Conclusion. I want to conclude my discussion by refreshing our memory on the address of our spiritual father, Hazrat Masrur Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih V, Ayatollah Ta'ala bin Nasir Aziz, on the duties of office bearers during his maiden visit to Nigeria in April 2004. It reads 2004, and it's still very relevant, and it will continue to be relevant because any speech made by Khalifa is out of inspiration by Allah. Now I quote, now I want to give brief address to office bearers. All office bearers must perform their duties diligently and with justice. There are secretaries of different departments in the Jamaat, Majlis, in bracket. They should look at their plan critically. I have already spoken in details about this in one of my sermons. Amir, Sada, relevant to us here, alone cannot do all the work. If each officer performs industriously, only then the Jamaat or Majlis will make general progress. The office bearers must discharge the responsibilities they owe to the members fairly. There is a hadith that says that one who performs his duties honestly and justly with pleasure and honor the right of his fellow beings is a true trustee and has the right to discharge the trust to others. Such a person deserves the same reward as such a person who gives alms. The office bearers must also remember that they are performing their duties only for obtaining the pleasure of Allah. Let me repeat. The office bearers must only remember that they are performing their duties only for obtaining the pleasure of Allah. Therefore, if ordinary members of the community give a suggestion that can be beneficial to the community, it should be borne in mind that instead of becoming a matter of personal ego, in short, all office bearers should perform their duties in the light of the rules and regulations. The rules and regulations have been written down already. After all, these rules are generally based on the Holy Quran and Hadith. If the office bearers perform according to the principles laid down, it will facilitate their tasks immensely. If they still do not understand, then they must remember that they can ask the Nizam for assistance. They can ask the help of the Khalifa. Nevertheless, they must do their utmost to fulfill their responsibilities in the best manner. I am repeating this matter publicly so that every office bearer at every level is fully informed, and also that every Ahmadi will know that if he is called to serve in any capacity, he is carrying a heavy responsibility, and that he has to earn the pleasure of Allah by performing his duties. May Allah, the Almighty, enable every office bearer to discharge the trust placed on him with honesty. Amen. After downpour, it does not rain. No more comment after Uzur speech. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Public address is not working. Hello, testing public address. Let me start making my comments by thanking our erudite Naib Sada admin for giving a beautiful lectures on the topic as specified in our program. You know, this is the bedrock of Majlis Ansarullah and the Jamaat in general, that once an officer is appointed, he is expected to discharge his duty diligently. If an officer is elected or appointed, what we expect from such person is to acclimatize himself with the rules and regulations guiding that office. And if you don't know, it has been specified there. Look at our that's to assess if it's under Majlis. And if it is Jamaat, you look for Tariq Jadid, where you get all the information. So if you are not even satisfied, you can seek learned people's opinion who will guide you. So if we do that, I think we'll be doing very fine. But unfortunately, the moment they appoint officers, or the moment they appoint elect officers, they go to sleep. So, in fact, in some places, we have seen an office as a honor. So, I'm the president, and after that, no more. You are the coordinator, you are the Nansimala, you are the Saimala. In fact, some Saimala have never made a report. Written report like that, we have not seen. Some have not done so. But what we needed, this thing is not working. Okay. And pray to God that we can discharge our duties as expected. So I want to ask whether we still have other opinions that can move the Majlis forward as far as reports responsibility is concerned. So who are those that want to make comments or ask questions? So let us signify. Tí mo sọ ni pé àwọn tó bá fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí kókó ọ̀rọ̀ yìí wọ́n náà sókè. Bóyá kò yé wa tó tàbí kó jẹ́ pé a ní ìṣòro kan àbí míì tó kì í jẹ́ ká lè máa kọ report tàbí àti ẹ̀mọ̀ nípa nǹkan tá a fẹ́ kọ. Irú ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ ó ní àǹfààní láti béèrè. So àwọn tó bá fẹ́ béèrè wọ́n náwó sókè. Ṣé wọ́n pé ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ta péré ló kù ká parí program yìí ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ta nítorí pé MOOC meeting ẹ fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ MOOC meeting ìṣẹ́jú 4:30 ló yẹ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ ká rẹ̀sì díẹ̀ kó má di pé nígbà tá a bá dé MOOC meeting a máa sùn. Already mo ti rí pé about 10% of the people are sleeping. Mo lè kó ti bọ́ sọ́wọ́ àrẹ tí a bá jẹun tó ń run ló kàn. Ó yẹ ká rest ṣùgbọ́n àjẹkẹ́ ẹ̀ sinmi. Nítorí náà ká rọra ṣe lérèfé so that bí about 30 minutes we can make a rest. So 4:30 we'll start the MOOC meeting proper. Àwọn other things tó yẹ ká sọ lórí kókó rẹ̀ mo ti ṣẹ́ wọn sí MOOC meeting time. So nípa bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn tó fẹ́ béèrè àbí tó fẹ́ comment láti ọ̀tún báyìí. kò sí middle point, then number one, and number one the only one. Please come up. Oh, number two, sorry. The only two and the only two.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Writing of reports is germane to every organization. Without it, no one will be considered working. But here we are, sir. Some of us who have privilege to serve directly on the MULK platform as Koidin. Okay, let me personalize it, sir, to the office that I serve, Ta'lim al-Quran. It has always been issues with reports. I remember, with the permission of respected Sada sir, we created a platform for Diliat, Ta'lim al-Quran, and Nazimin. But it is not functioning. Number one, we do not have adequate information from the dealer to input there. That is, Nazimin WhatsApp telephone numbers. We do not have them. Some will say, when we call them, they will say, we have telephone, but we are not on WhatsApp. So, which means the person or that officer will be totally out of the platform. Number two, the few that are there, only 3 or 4 on the max respond. Usually, I will not say regularly. And the only avenue we can rely upon is the respected Nazimi Allah, because they are in charge of the various officers, even down to Muqam level. They oversee what they do. How, sir, Nazimin Allah will be gracious enough for us to ginger the Nazimin in the daily act to assist our various offices? Because I believe it is from the Nazimin they also collect their reports. I believe that is how it's supposed to be. What their Nazimin do is what they collate and bring here. And each office, each MULK office also has some designed format for their various offices. So these have not been adequately made use of. So how are we going to enjoy gracious support of our respected Nazimi Allah? Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. The readily available answer is the failure of the Koidin in the respective offices. When you look at the structure of the Majlis, Koidin down to the office in Halko, I mean, instruction from the MOOC down to the Halko and feedback to the MOOC through all officers. For example, if you are kindly remind me. No, I want from alcohol to MOOC. Mutazin, yes, I'm very right. Mutazin to Mukam, then Mutazin from Mukam to Nansimi in Dilia, then from Nansimi to Koidin, and that's how it is. So I expect all the Koidin to monitor and supervise all of our cities officers. Once we do that, I think there will be a sort of improvement. I'm coming. I got you right. I got you right. You know, it is just a way the Nazimi is helping the Koidin by collecting what they bring, and to be an easy way for Koidin. But the Koid too should also monitor all officers. They monitor the officer of that dealer, while the Nazim of that office will monitor both the Mukom and alcohol. Because in some cases in alcohol you may find 2 or 3 people. They will not be able to perform until they come to the Mukom and jointly do whatever instruction you give to them. So, in essence, I want the coordinator to put more weight on their work. And the Nazime too, if you want your work to be very effective, you have to make use of your Nazime. That is one. Number 2 is that if Koid now shock out program, maybe through our handbook or whatever means is shock out and the house accepts it to be done. So it is now incumbent on everybody on how to improve ourselves. For instance, creating a platform where everyone will make reference to how you have been doing about your Talimul Quran. How did you read your Quran? What position you are? It has taken some individual to do so. But according to the reports, less than 30% responded. But if you did not say that they don't have WhatsApp compliant phone, that's a serious aberration. So I want to use this opportunity to ask all those Nazimi that are here, if you don't have phone that is WhatsApp compliance, raise up your hand. Attention you. Tí any officer tó bá kéde pé a fẹ́ ṣe report àbá fẹ́ kọ́ nǹkan kan lórí platform tó jẹ́ WhatsApp platform, tí Nazimi ibì kan ò wá ní gbogbo tajini tó wà lágbègbè yẹn ló ti pa lò, and it's a serious case. It's not a joke. Ẹ má tó create fún problem fún wọn. Àní wọn ò ní fóònù, ẹni tó ní fóònù ra data. Ṣùgbọ́n bá fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan mi, bá fẹ́ wo nǹkan mi, wọ́n rí wò lórí data. So ẹ̀yin Nazimi tẹ́ bá ní fóònù tó wà comply with WhatsApp, ẹ jẹ́ ká rí ẹ náwó sókè. Ta ló náwó bẹ́ẹ̀? Bàbá ọ̀tà. Tatúnẹ̀ ẹ̀yin má lọ sókè o, ẹ̀yin Koidman ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ fún bàbá Etoro àbí ẹ̀yin apá fọ̀n ẹ má kẹ lọ ra fóònù kẹ fi fún wọn, ẹ má fún wọn rárá. Kí ló ṣe tọ̀dọ̀ yín tẹ̀ ní WhatsApp compliance? Ẹ fawọ́ aago sẹ́yìn kí ló tẹ̀ ní? Ẹ bá fún ọ̀tà lówó náà, ẹ lọ ra fóònù fún wọn. Then àwọn ló tún kù, kankan náà ni wọ́n, ìlú kan náà ni Adó-Odò Ìgbẹ́sà. Ṣé àmọ́ pé ní around November lọ́tí náà wọn ò dẹ̀ bìkítà láti ní, but wọ́n ra aṣọ tuntun. Ta ló tún kù? Lọ́kọjà, Lọ́kọjà, you don't have. You have. Very good. Ètò wa láìlé first meeting wọn náà ti ní fún phone. So ta ló tún kù? Okay. We are looking for solutions. That's why I haven't taken decisions that I'm taking. Ẹ̀pẹ́, you are representing Ẹ̀pẹ́. What about your phone? Kí lẹ wí sà? Lè máa wá síbí kẹ́ ẹ má ní WhatsApp compliance. I told you. tẹ́ bá ti ń bọ̀ ẹ gba fóònù ọ̀gá yín tó rán yín iṣẹ́ ẹ gbà dání tẹ́ bá ti lè gbà dání ẹ má bọ́dà láti wá so that is a fact so ta ló tún kù okay that settle that ẹ jẹ́ n gbọ́ béèrè kejì yes sir okay let's listen to your comments.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My own comment is this. I remember when we were a member of Majlis Kudam, I was fortunate to serve under a lot of Sadar. So we have one of our Sadar then. When he gives you an assignment, he doesn't want excuses. All he wants is results. And whatever is going to cost you to get that result, he will support you. And that's the mode I want us to take. When we want results, I sincerely believe it's not those among us, the richest among us are not the one we appoint to office. And we know fingers are not equal. When you give some people some assignment, they will not want to tell you that I don't have money to go about it. Financially, I am not okay. But we can assist them. If there are various levels, if they are given our opportunity to use some money to get us the result, it will be better for us. Rather than for him to say, I will give you result, I will do it, I will do it. But he will not want to come out and tell you, I don't have money. And this is what that my Sadar as at that time doesn't, he frowned at it. Whatever is going to cost you, let me know for you to get result. And he wants result, and he will surely get that result. So invariably, what I'm saying is that we should support them, and that is what Sadar has just done now. Those who are not, who cannot comply with the present situation, he said, okay, they should get them a phone. Some will not even have data. Let their various Mukomi or their dealer support them with that to make sure that we get that result. And I think with that, at least, we will not have excuse. Man will always give excuse for his failure anyway. That is something that is normal. May Allah assist us.
Let us be one house. You have opinion, just raise up your hand. Okay, with the last speaker, I think you have already given all necessary support. Constitutionally, the MOOC decided that 12.5% to be given to dealer, so which you can use your money to buy the food. But if you now fail to do your work, take for instance, if you are about 30, 40, 50, 90 in your dealer, and only 5 is paying, Chanda Majlis, or only 3 is paying. In some dealer, those who used to pay is not up to 10. Then what will you have? And that will make it even difficult for you to attend the MOOC meeting. So we would love a situation where you do your house, you put your house very well, so that you can have more money. We also give the coordinators 12.5%. Then we call 10%. I understand some dealer doesn't even give Mukom their dues. In some cases, they don't give the Mukom. It is on report that some dealer doesn't give their Mukom their entitlement. They eat everything. Yes. Sometimes they say they owe the dealer, so they just basically. So, but all they say, the MOOC also basically dealer if they don't pay some certain money. So that is like that. Yes, Honorable Abbas. Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam.
I can hear Sadar saying vividly that they should not pay them and use the money to buy phone. That's what I wanted to talk on. If you say they should not pay them and use the money to buy phone, is the phone for them, for the nursing, or for the dealer? And if the phone is for the dealer is the owner of the money, not the nursing. So if you convert the money to phone, it means you buy phone for dealer, for somebody, individual, and the man will take the phone away. So that's why I want you to look at it very well, sir.
Yes, we are looking at it. We are looking at it. If somebody is given an assignment, and that assignment is expected to discharge as expected, and is not having the phone, and they present the matter in the house, and you are not helping out, you are not helping that person out. Our duty here is to take the last line of action, to use the money for him, because he has come to represent you. There are many people that got money in Mecca before God appointed the Holy Prophet. There are many big people before you are appointed as one thing or the other. I know we have intellectual people here. Before you say, I should be the Sada. I'm not the best among you, but God has given me the opportunity to read. Likewise, some of you have been given the opportunity to read. And if you are to lead, and you know that you don't have the money, and I know where you can get the money, the best thing is the reform or the engineer to present the full form to their leader. And if you're afraid to do so, we will assist you to do so. And that's what we are doing right now. But some individuals, you know that when it comes to every issue, you know how you are spending money, but you cannot spend your money in the way of God. You also account for it. We account. If you dodge, God is looking at you. You know, he sees you. You know, you are sending your children to school. You are we just and you want the magnet to buy it for you. It's okay, they will buy. And the work will be going on. All the reward that you will have, they will spread it to other members of the Damat. That's the meaning. So God forbid it. So that is that. So Honorable Abbas, you can help your nursing, you can help your whoever an officer you think feel that you can assist. God will reward you of whatever you do. Thank you. So I think there are no more comments, no more questions. In order to have siesta time for about 1 hour, we'll reconvene by 5 o'clock. I think you like that. Yes. So we'll come back to discharge all the reports. We are not going to spend much time. It's just between 5 and 8 p.m., 3 hours. That's all we'll go to sleep. We have been exhausted since morning, and we need to rest a bit. Do you like that? Yes. All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let us pray. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Okay, one announcement though.
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. 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 La ilaha illallah محمد رسول الله